And I'm not just saying that because I'm not making films anymore. I'm not saying that because I'm no longer directing. I'm not saying that because I don't love film, I don't love cinema. I actually have made more work in the last year and a half than I've ever made in my entire career. From 2011 to 2024, I had made 22 creative works. And this isn't including commercials or corporate work that I did for like gigs or whatever. This is just work of my own merit, 22. In the last year and a half, I've made 19. I think what I've learned over this last year and a half or so is not to really place myself in boxes or limit myself in terms of what I can do. And so that's why I'm saying, hey, don't call me a filmmaker anymore. Because not only am I a filmmaker, I'm much more than that. I'm a poet, I'm a music producer, I'm a visual artist, I'm a photographer. I do all of these things and they don't clash with one another. They all sort of contribute to an overall artistic vision and expression that I aim to contribute to the world. Because I don't create because I want to make money. I don't create because I have to make a living by it. Of course, I'm lucky enough to have made a living by it for the last 15 years, but I do it because I have to. If I'm not creating, I really just struggle. You know, it's almost like detoxing. It's like using the bathroom, and that's essentially what art is for me. And over this last year and a half or so, I've really leaned, back heavily into the art. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the response. I don't really care what other people think of it. Of course, I hope that the contributions that I put out there artistically do add something, to the world. I do. Like that's a goal, because I don't want to just make frivolous art. But I think the thing that stands out to me the most is whether when I finish, when I look at the edit, or when I'm looking at the monitor, or I'm just reviewing the rough cut or the final cut or whatever cut it is this consistent with what I want to say? And do I feel as if I said that in the best possible way I possibly could? And that's what matters the most to me. Over the last 2 years, I have reconnected with my gift and love for poetry. Some of you might not know, or some of you might know. I don't even know if I spoke on this on the channel before, but I got into film because I was a poet. The first thing I ever made was a piece called Detroit, and I ran into a childhood friend of mine, Latoya Coates, at her grandmother's house in 2010, and she had a camera, and I had 3 poems about Detroit, and I told her, I was like, hey man, what do you think about making a documentary about Detroit? Now, mind you, I had no idea on how to make a documentary. I just saw a friend with a camera, and it was a Sony NEX5. That's what kind of camera she had. And so she was like, sure. Of course, we had no idea what we were going to embark upon at that particular moment. But a few months later, we had our first piece. It was called Detroit, like #Detroit. It's not available publicly anymore. I still have it. I could maybe put it up at one point in time, but it changed my life. I fell in love with the process. But at that particular point, I was still heavily invested into poetry. I was a poet who made visuals along to go with my poetry. Over time, I ended up making my first official narrative short film, and again, got a lot of attention from it. And I think from that attention and from the opportunity to really change my life and make money, because I was a college dropout, it was Like I just went all in on film, and I kind of left poetry behind. And even though I was getting all this success with the films and things that I was making, it always felt like something was missing. And so, long story short, had a bunch of personal trials and tribulations, and just started writing again. And around the same time, I picked up making beats, making music. My brother, is a rapper. You've probably seen maybe some of the visuals that I've posted on my channel. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm a head. I'm a hip hop head. Like, I've been that way since I was 13, 14 years old. I heard NY State of Mind as a kid by Nas off Illmatic, and I was hooked, So I really do have that. Oh, I fell in love with hip hop at this moment, and it was hearing NY State of Mind for the first time. And so I've always wanted to participate. And so my brother is a rapper, and he was struggling to find beats, and he was kind of like in a semi-retirement state. And I'm such a big fan of him, so I picked up making beats myself. And so we began making music together, but around the same time, whenever I would make a beat that kind of sounded like an interlude or whatever, I was like, man, like, maybe I could put my poetry to this, because I used to put my poetry to like jazz music from back in the day when I was doing the art films. When I first started, I would put my poetry to like Miles Davis or John Coltrane or whatever. So, we're in the advent of drumless hip hop. So I'm like, okay, I can put my poetry to this. And I did it, and it just became sort of addictive. It became like another method of expression, but it was also something that I was already kind of good at. I was already a proficient poet, and over the years I've been working on a book called Preacher's Kids Are the Worst Ones. So a lot of people who know me personally know that my dad is a pastor in Detroit. And me and my brother, we had a very unique upbringing. And so I always wanted to write this book, Preacher's Kids Are the Worst Ones, which is a collection of poetry probably dating from around 2009 all the way up to the current time. And so when I started recording my poetry, it remotivated me to finish my book. And thank God my book is finished. And so I'll be releasing it soon, self-publishing. It's a hardcover book with photos and poetry in it. And it almost serves as a memoir of sorts. It was just a blessing to be able to not only reconnect with something that was so near and dear to me, but I feel like reconnecting with that art allowed me to not only reconnect with my childhood, reconnect with my city in a way that I hadn't before, and reconnect with my family, just doing research and things of that nature, and just really jogging my memory of what things were. And I think in turn, I've made some of the most vulnerable, honest art that I've ever made in life. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity to do that. So don't call me a filmmaker anymore, man. I'm a filmmaker, but I'm a poet. I'm a father, I'm a photographer, and I'm just trying to do the best that I can. And you're gonna be hearing more from me, you're gonna be seeing more from me. I have a book coming, I have music coming, I have more films coming. I have a short film that I'm doing that's like gonna kind of go the festival route and all that. But then we also have a feature version of that short. It's a short called Frame Lines. And it's a really special piece. And so you're gonna be hearing a lot more from me, seeing a lot more art from me in general, but it's not just going to be filmmaking content. And I hope that you all appreciate it. I hope that you all are along for the ride. If you're only here for filmmaking stuff, I apologize, but it's gonna be a little bit more. Lean into your gifts, man. Like, God gives you gifts to use them. The best way that you can express gratitude is by using the gifts that God gave you. And I'm not sure if anybody here is religious or whatever. I'm Christian, so I'm not saying that you gotta believe what I believe, but I do truly believe that the best way to show gratitude is to use what God gave you. And so that's what I'm trying to do, and I hope that you all can learn to do the same, and hopefully me showing more of my journey, showing more of the process behind the journey inspires you to do the same thing. Peace.